Broads Media.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Broads. The Flyers in the desert stay on fire. Nice little story, Arizona. Whoop-de-damn-do. You beat some former champions. You can't beat TK. You can't beat Carter Hart. You can't beat Sean Couturier off the draw. That goal by TK set up by the face-off circle. Coots won that puppy clean. Coots wins that right on the money, and TK lets it rip. Oh, so they get a piece of it. Doesn't matter. Gets behind the goal line, and the orange and black take a 1-0 lead. You know what happens when this team gets on the board and gets to play with a lead. Beautiful work, fellas. Beautiful, beautiful work. What's that? Ollie gets to call up because they're dealing with some sickness. They're dealing with not everyone feeling great. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This team is right behind the New York Rangers right now in the standings. Do I know why? Do I know how? No, not really. Do I care? No, not really. Which brings me to the argument that I had with somebody on Twitter, and I respect this individual who reached out to me. Seems like a very good guy. Seems like someone who has really enjoyed what we've done here over the last handful of years. And I'll give him a shout out. It's Philly Sports Experts. Says, Broads, I love your stuff, man. I listened to your OG podcast. They were awesome, but I just can't believe you think this team should be winning and trying to make the playoffs. And this was my response. I appreciate the love. Thank you so much. But why wouldn't I want the Flyers to win? There's a lot of young talent on this roster that are going to be a part of the future. Learning/knowing how to win every night is important to their growth. That outweighs any sort of, quote, tank. Now, Philly Sports Expert, he ends up responding. I hear you, but I just don't think this team is nearly close enough. They need a ton more, in my opinion. Wouldn't it be better for another 2 years of high-end picks? Could be a potential loaded team. I just don't want another 10 years of mediocre hockey. And my response to that, no one is saying that they are close. Mitchkov and Gauthier are already in the pipeline. Briere should be able to draft prospects over the next few years, no matter where they fall in the standings. That's the job, and I think he can do it. Competing is the best scenario for where they are right now in the rebuild. And I think that sums it up perfectly. It won't be me. It won't be me bitching that John Tortorella has this team playing the right way, that has this team winning games, that has Travis Konechny on fire on the penalty kill. That breakaway was barred down. It doesn't get any more perfect than that. Bar down, using his speed, his ability to create a lane to fire it. Dude, it was unreal. It was unreal. Cam York coming down the half wall. He gets the puck up at the blue line. He does a shimmy shake down the half wall and fires it after a toe drag release. You know what I'm saying? And they beat up this Arizona squad. It was amazing. A lot of great goals. What other goal was there? Oh, yeah. The Cam Atkinson to Joel Farabee pass where it threads the needle and finds Farabee's tape perfectly, and I mean perfectly, as he's going hard to the net back door. It's funny because Torts post-game goes, that game wasn't really great. I saw a lot of things I didn't love, and yeah, sure, fine. But you win 4-1. I think you're not giving them enough credit for all the positives that happened. Yeah, you know what? The third period, Arizona, after the Flyers scored their fourth goal, they definitely applied a lot, and they were in the offensive zone, and Carter Hart has been spectacular. Are we done with that debate? I'd imagine we are, right? We're not really dealing with any of the, is Carter Hart really good? Is he a upper echelon goalie? Like, do people still have that argument? Because he's gross. And I want to give a lot of credit to Urson for what he's been able to do his last couple of nods, because there's no doubt the beginning of the year he was hurting this team a lot. they were getting shots on net from all these weird angles, and it would beat his glove side, or it would beat his blocker side, or it would squeak through underneath of his armpit. Totally unacceptable, and would kill any sort of momentum that the Flyers would try to establish. Well, he's been absolutely different, and I think there's a correlation between that and where the Flyers are right now at the top. How long does this last? I don't know. I don't really know. I'm not trying to sell you a product where they are absolutely fantastic, phenomenal. We saw the disparity between them and the Rangers, and part of the reasons why there were so many odd man rushes on that Black Friday game in South Philly against the Rangers is because you have to take those risks and you have to take those chances to try and keep up with a Panarin, a Zibanejad, that scary, scary force that the Rangers are. You don't stand a chance if you play any other style. Then let's take those risks and let's see if we can have a third guy join the rush. And if that ends up being a 2-on-1 the other way, well, score on that initial 3-on-2 or jump up in the play and have that one extra guy. If you can score on that initial rush, there's no 2-on-1 the other way. We have to do that. We have to, because we can't keep up pace. Otherwise, there's a clear disparity between the top in this league and where the Flyers are. But I still love that they are in this position. I need Tyson Foerster to know what it's like to be in the standing position that they're in right now. And he's been great. He's been great scoring prior to Arizona. He's beating guys clean. He doesn't need a screen. He doesn't need a goalie to take away the eyes. Or someone on the team, to stand in front of the goalie to take away their eyes. You know how hard that is? In the NHL, one-on-one. The NHL, mano-a-mano. From a decent distance out. To just shoot a puck and beat them clean? Tyson Foerster has the ability to. And if you think his shot is good, just wait until you see Cutter Gauthier's one-timer on the right side on a power play. The complete opposite of Ovi, just flip-flopped. The dude's beating guys with missiles from right inside the blue with the 1T in NCAA. Won't be as easy at the next stage, but I'm just telling you, if he could do that there, just wait. Because I think it's even more than what Tyson Foerster has, and Tyson Foerster has a mean, wicked shot. This team, they make their fair share of mistakes. When you're up 2-0 and you leave a guy wide open in the slot, two guys go to one, Cam York leaves the net front. Well, yeah, Carter Hart is put in a very, very tough situation there. Can you make up for those mistakes, though? When it goes wrong, do you have the ability to get one on the board and stop maybe any sort of life that the opposing team has in a building that holds, 5,000, 6,000 fans? What an embarrassment it really is. Next up, the 16-7-2 Colorado Avalanche on the road. That's Saturday night at 9 o'clock. I'm pumped. I'm pumped to see what they look like. Yeah, with a few minutes left in the first period, they leave Krause wide open in front of the net. Can't happen. Unacceptable. I love when they show clips, though, of Torts on the bench when anything happens. If it's a bad penalty call, if it's just him being angry with one of his own players, it's classic. A grit of the teeth and a big F-bomb. Big grit of the teeth, F-bomb screaming. It's amazing. I'm enjoying the Torts experience this season. Some things he takes too far. There's no reason to bench Joel Farabee for an entire game when he did a few games ago, especially when you lost Hathaway for the major penalty that was against the Penguins. But I want to give a lot of credit to this team for how they won against that Penguins squad, because if you remember, this was the game in Pittsburgh where they had the lead late, and then before you knew it, the Penguins tied it up super late. I think there was, maybe 20 seconds left? They won 4-3 in a shootout. We have the Sean Couturier now, by the way. He has done it so many times that he has his own specialized branded breakaway shot when he turns backwards and then fires it, tries to get it off the post there and beat the goalie. That would be blocker side. It's an amazing play, and good for him to be able to do that in a penalty shot as consistently as he does. With 21 seconds to go, Jake Gensel scored his second of the third period. He scored just under 2 minutes into the third period to give the Penguins the lead, and then scored with 21 seconds left. And we've seen the Flyers pretty much collapse and fail not too long ago with the lead with a little bit to go, and everything would deflate. All right, here we go again. Flyers choked another one away. The resiliency of this group, and I think a lot of that has to do with Sean Couturier. Sean Couturier in overtime against Sidney Crosby wins a draw in the defensive zone. He gets up ice, and now he's scoring an OT game winner. That was the one in the Wells Fargo Center. But that's why it's so important to have him and Cam Atkinson back. Think about what I mentioned. Atkinson's pass to Farabee. Boom! Major. Sean Couturier, every night I can point something out that he does amazing, whether it's with the puck or whether it's playing without the puck, whether it's the combination of him and Travis Konechny and allowing him to play his style and branch out, go take risks, go take a chance up ice, BTK, and you have the luxury of knowing that you have a center that can play the position so crisp and play such a defensive-minded game that go ahead. I know my team has my back. I know my center is in position. I know that if this doesn't work, that at least we're in a fine, sound spot that we won't get obliterated back up the ice the other way automatically. There's something there that I can at least respect because of Coots. It was great to have them return after last year, Atkinson and Couturier, because you need to have that veteran leadership. And even now, Coots, I guess, is looking at TK on the bench, giving him looks. And that's part of the maturity. So that's where we're at with TK and Coots. They have this father-son-like relationship. You get the eyes from the father. What do you do? Uh-oh. Yes. That's right. He's giving me that look for a reason. That means I wasn't doing something right, or that means he's looking for me to have a response to that look. Well, guess what? The version of Travis Konechny that we're getting right now is because he is growing with the maturity level. This has always been there. The skill, the speed, the shot, the goal scoring, that's always been TK. But what has pushed him over to the next level is his ability to handle his emotions, which comes from the maturity and being around someone like Coots and understanding what it's like to be in this league for as long as he has, where all of those variables is why I'm giving a lot of love to what they're doing right now, because Forster can see that firsthand. So Owen Tippett can see that firsthand. So Cam York can see that firsthand. You need to see it. You need to see it with your own eyeballs and witness it and experience it and go through it and be in the room with other players that are doing it. So then you know exactly what needs to be done. You can see what that does to change TK going from a good player in this league to a great player in this league. Then when you assess the offseason, it's, whoa. I remember watching Konechny and seeing him from year 3 to year 5, year 2 to year 6. And I know that this is something I need to do to get to where I can maximize my skill set. I need to grow from the emotional side of the game. I need to grow from all the ins and outs of how to be a professional, how to handle road trips, how to handle West Coast swings, how to handle 1 o'clock games on a Saturday afternoon. All those details, I love it. And I think it would be crazy to just expect this team to full tank. They're not in full tank mode. And I hate that I have to bring this up every single damn time. We are way past that. Anyone who's still bringing that up, we are way past that. We're not in a position where we just constantly lose because there's zero value of anyone on this team. A lot of the guys on this team are part of what we want them to get to. They will be here when it matters, so them improving is a big part of the push that we're looking at as a franchise. I don't know. I don't get it. I also don't get how TickPick is the greatest in the world because all they do is give you phenomenal prices on every single damn ticket on the market. So get yourself to a Flyers game, get yourself to a Sixers game, and they have the best prices guaranteed. What you do down below in the description, if you click the TickPick link, my promo code is already activated with it. Their ticket prices will beat any of our major competing marketplaces. Their ticket prices will be any of their major competing marketplaces. They are so confident about it, they guarantee it. If you find the same seats elsewhere at a better price than TickPick, you will get 110% of the price difference in form of TickPick credit. You won't find better prices because there's no such thing. So you get $10 off by utilizing the promo code BRODES. It's a nice little push for the holidays. Maybe you get one of your loved ones a pair of tickets to go to the Wells Fargo Center, and there's upfront pricing, so no more doing the math in your head to prepare for how much extra you plan on spending on top of the listed price than on other sites, because the price you see on TickPick is the price you'll pay at checkout, period, end of story. You get no added service fees, hidden fees, or otherwise, so make sure you join the TickPick family. Also, this team handles adversity with Noah Cates going down. Not that he's been amazing this year, because quite frankly, he's been probably more disappointing than exciting. It just gives someone else an opportunity. It gives Morgan Frost, the Bobby Brink, anyone who's fighting for some ice time. Here it is. Here's what you have. Go ahead. Go ahead. Take it. Run with it. We'll see where that takes everyone. All right, let's go to the text board here. What are your thoughts on the rumors that Toronto is interested in Rasmus? Get him out of here as quickly as possible, please. I don't want Rasmus here due to his contract. So if you can find a way to offload that and it makes sense, then yeah, no doubt about it. I don't want to take a certain amount of money back and then you have a lot of money tied to your cap, but you got rid of Rasmus for a little bit. Like, I don't want it to be something egregious. I do trust Danny Briere. He did show throughout his first offseason that he was willing to get creative. And luckily, the St. Louis Blues trade did not go through with Travis Sanheim because he's been a monster this year. But just the way that he's able to put other pieces together, look for a third team, do this, do that, call someone else, what can we do? He seems to work well on his toes, and it's not, okay, this is it, and if this doesn't work, then fine, we'll just throw it in the trash. What can we do to still reach our goal? There's a lot there, very smart, intelligent mind, so I don't think he'll just throw something away in the trash and say, oh, all right, well, we got rid of him, and not really process what this means with cap and this and retaining salary and blah, blah, blah. I'm just speaking out loud more so than really diving into the ins and outs of it. But with Rasmus, if you can get rid of that, there's no doubt I would get rid of that. Last year, he wasn't as bad. There were some times that he did some nice things in the D zone, but for some reason in this league, you see a body size that big, you think of a defenseman that in theory can play a certain way, and you want him to be tough, and you want him to bring an edge, and you blah, 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 blah. We found out that Rasmus Ristolainen doesn't do that. You just get enamored by what he looks like with his skates on and how big he is, but he doesn't really get to do it on a night-to-night basis because he's just not good enough. If you can offload Rasmus Ristolainen, I am ready to do it today, instantly. Get him out of town. 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 I don't want Rasmus Ristolainen here. If someone is willing to pick up the phone and discuss, oh my God, we got to jump on that real quickly, all right? Now, Toronto can get desperate. You know their fan base is on edge, and they don't like what's been happening over these years. And they have all this talent. And they got Matthews and Marner and Willie Nylander. And guys are blossoming. But on their back end, there's always been this knock that they don't have great D. And then in the back of my mind, I'm going, so you think the answer is Rasmus Ristolainen? So you think the best move moving forward is Rasmus Ristolainen? Oh, you better sell them that it is. Oh, you better tell them that, oh, Rasmus, man, he could make a good first outlet pass. All right, he can hit tape to tape on the first pass when someone's hanging out by the half wall looking for a breakout. God, dude, bring out all the highlight packages of all the great stuff, please. Yes, get him out. What are my thoughts on the rumor? Get him out. Get him out. Get him out. When I had Rush Joy on last show, he brought up that he was hearing some wrinkles, that there were some scouts in attendance from Toronto looking at him. Hey, dude, it's real. If there are scouts in the building, it's real. Speaking of Russ, this text says I heard you and Rush talk about Tortorella not fitting a rebuild team. I'm on your side. A team filled with Forster, Owen Tippett, and many other young kids involved right now when they are right under the Rangers in the standings is something they need. How you handle being in a playoff position as we roll into Christmas, etc. I love John in this approach. I think that's an excellent point. What do you do when you are in the position that you are? You have the points that you have, you're winning hockey games, and it's close to Christmas. We know what the stats say when you're in a position by America's Thanksgiving. For years and years and decades, it told you that it's good if you're in that position. Well, now we're inching our way closer to Christmas. Things are looking good. There's a lot to absorb, though, with that, because is it fair for them to keep this up for the rest of the season? Probably not. I think they're overseeding expectations. They're overplaying, so it will find the mean again. And if they do end up slipping and they run out of gas and maybe they don't have that same power in game 60, game 70, game 80, they're worn down, other teams are making bigger pushes, it's probably right to feel that that's going to happen. And that doesn't necessarily mean you don't have the right guys. Those kids stink. They failed you. So it's hard because there's a lot of variables in that. We know that this is sort of a special surprise and an enjoyable surprise. They'll tip back to the norm eventually, but then now do you discredit what they did earlier in the season? Do you look at them falling and collapsing down at the end, or is that just where they are right now and it makes sense with who they are right now, but it doesn't mean that's who some of these kids are going to be forever? But what if they climb the mountain and it doesn't tip and they don't hit a wall, if you will, and they do pursue into a wild card position, or who knows, maybe even a top 3 in the Metropolitan position, because some teams like the Devils aren't wowing anybody to death, and the Capitals, they're not what they once were 3, 4, 5 years ago, and there's just an opportunity. And let's say they do get experience to play in a first round and they lose in 6 games or so, but now you got to see what it was like to get a taste of that playoff hockey. What is the jump? Well, you don't know what that jump is until you actually get to go through the motions and see it, So, I don't know. There's a lot with that one, but. And then another text here, is Travis Konechny still someone you'd look to trade? No, I love TK, and TK has won me over. I want TK to be here. He's still super young. I think he's very valuable on and off the ice. I think he's really blossomed into something very, very important for this organization. And he's young enough where when it's 2 years in and Matvei Michkov is here and Cutter Gauthier is here, he's 29, okay? He's late 20s. He's 30. 30's not 38. 30's not 36. No team is just filled with a roster of 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds. At some point, some of those 26-year-olds turn 29, and then they have a lot of young kids under their wing. I want TK here. I think TK will absolutely have an impact on a lot of the ones that we're looking at now and a lot of the kids that aren't here yet that are either playing in Boston College or Russia. So that's my 2 cents on it. All right, everybody. It was nice to talk some Flyers. I do apologize for the lack thereof, just considering how much the Eagles have dominated the conversation. But it's been a crazy 2-week span of Eagles football that have taken over my life. So that's just reality. I love you guys to death. I really do appreciate all of you, and we'll be talking very soon. See you on the next one.